All right, everyone, welcome back. Today I have Joel Farrell back on, one of my weekly guests. And today we are going to be talking about our kind of maybe stories that we have or how we're doing in short-term rentals right now. So welcome back, Joel.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you know what? First, let's talk about your hat real quick.
It's a donut hole place nearby our short-term rental in here in Destin, Florida. My mother-in-law literally picked it up and threw it on my head, and it just landed on my head this morning. So I had to wear it. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice. All right. Well, I think you've been doing short-term rentals a lot longer than me. I'm just doing it as a manager or host or manager for owners in Waikiki and Oahu. But what is your experience so far?
Yeah, I think there's two things that I want to talk about on this because you've got people that have already been doing it, right? That are already in the game, and maybe they want to scale to the next one. Maybe they want to hold pat and see what the market's doing. Then you have people that are also looking at getting into the market right now. And the person that's trying to get into the market right now, there's one of the biggest things that I'm looking at is just the data expectations. They're more volatile probably than ever before, as the demand is still very, very strong, but the supply in lots of areas has just risen so high. So you've got a lot of people, a lot of owners that are expecting a certain amount of income from these properties that aren't really hitting their metrics. And we've already seen some people in certain markets, more volatile markets, that are selling, bought and sold within a very short period of time. So, risk management, getting into a deal, that's something that I kind of want to unpack a little bit of what are people, what am I recommending? What am I seeing people do to really, minimize risk in these types of times?
Yeah, well, first I want to talk about too my background for everyone. Me and Joel are trying to put out content consistently for you folks. So I'm doing it from work today, and I'm doing it from usually wherever I can fit it in my schedule to accommodate these people that are like 5, 6 hour different time difference from me. But we finally got to connect. But yeah, so that right now I'm in a waiting room right now, but we're gonna get this done. But so
Yeah.
yeah, so where are
And
you right
I'm
now?
I'm I'm at my house. So this is my short-term rental. We had that mural painted on the pool. So yeah, this is we're staying at my house, and you know, um this is the 3 levels, 5,000 square feet.
That's not a
Sleeps
house, man. That's like a mini apartment unit or something.
no, it's a house. It's a house. It's a house. But yeah, like, you and I are always talking about time in the market versus timing the market. And you know, when people ask me questions about this property, it's taken 10 years to get into this thing, 10 years of work and time and different moves along the way. And it's like you can't have everything right away. Real estate is a long game. It takes time. So
Wait. What do you mean 10 years? It was a ground up build, or how did
no, just navigating real estate and job and putting enough cash away to be able to just continue to scale, because this is a expensive property. I got it for over $2 million back in 2021. So to be able to have the capital put away, I was
oh,
able
okay.
to tap into other properties that had increased in value significantly. That I was able to leverage a little bit of capital to be able to help with the down payment. So it's just like, you see people on social media and it's like, yeah, that's the end, that's the finished product. It's like, yeah, what about all the work and time it takes to get there? And that's why I say it took me 10 years to get here.
I guess my biggest question too now after seeing the property is, will it rent as a long-term rental? Will you still be okay? Like, will your cash flow well, or
Yeah. So, you know, I got it at the very, very beginning of 2021. So like, not to get into the weeds of like the Emerald Coast area, but like this is in Destin. You've got 30A and Seaside, and films are shot there. Like that's like super, super high priced. And when I was looking at all of the data, the rents were very strong in this area, but the prices hadn't really caught up. So I got a really good deal on it, and values have gone up, probably 75% since then. So like cash flow wise, like, it's gonna do okay. But like one of the things that people that are in our industry that are in real estate, right? Like I've already been able to book a couple workshops Like I love real estate. I believe real estate, just like you, is a path for the everyday person to be able to get ahead and build wealth. And so like this is a very seasonal type of area. So like fall or winter is very, very light in terms of the booking. So I've been able to kind of market it a little bit and get a few groups to come down and use it as a workshop, as a place to be able to host a workshop and teach about real estate and habits and mindset and things like that. So it's like because of our entrepreneurial spirit, people like you and I, we have the ability to kind of do things a little bit outside the box to try to be able to generate extra revenue in that respect. So that's something that I've been working on for a while now, and it's finally coming to the table. So like, how can you source extra bookings, and the off peak for every single person out there? It may be different, but it's going to take that kind of extra work and mindset to be able to, bring in the extra income.
So is this your first like dabble in the short-term rental game? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
And do you
Yeah.
self-manage it yourself or you have systems in place?
Yeah, it's been with the property manager since we got it, and we just switched out property managers, and it's been kind of a nightmare. I'll leave it, involving lawyers. So
Oh,
it's
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's been unfortunately tricky. And so but it's part of the game, and you deal with it, and all about managing risk and being able to have the cushion there to be able to take care of things if things pop up. But yeah, like this environment with prices going up and rates going up, going into the game, getting into the game, having a plan, having the extra capital to be able to have available to be able to weather the storm when things don't go exactly as expected. That's what we're talking about for people. But at the same time, it's like rates have gone up so fast in the last 2 years, and prices are still strong if and when rates go down, and inflation's come down so fast since June of 2022 that all the data points towards prices staying stable and prices probably continue to rise, especially at some point, maybe it's next year. If rates do go down by 1%, everybody's going to be jumping back in the game, and prices are going to continue to stay strong.
Yeah. So for me, I don't own any short-term rentals. I'm interested in this. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii, where Waikiki is. So we do have a lot of restrictions, but we also have some legal, places that are designated where you can do nightly Airbnb. So my dabbling in it was I a property manager and I host for other owners. And that was kind of my idea to get my feet wet and kind of get systems in place and see how these systems work to see if I can get it very automated. And what I'm finding out is I am amazed that people do this. They self-manage their short-term rentals from a distance. Because I feel like, yes, there's a lot of systems that we get in place, like automated messaging and whatnot, but it's a lot of kind of personal touch or hands-on things that are required. Like I don't know how these automated messages really work. So when a guest asks for once, like a real specific type of question, but that's what I'm finding out is it's you can automate a lot of it, but it still requires this kind of personal responses in there. And it's been like you said, it's been kind of a nightmare for me and my partner who manage these. But we got like about maybe 7 to 8 properties thrown at us at one time, and we had to get them all. I mean, they're already listed with another manager before, and then we took over, but we had to list it on our own site and trying to get the listings up and running at the same time fulfilling all these reservations and taking new reservations. It was kind of a nightmare at first, and we were trying to figure things out. It's slowly calming down. Things are kind of running smoothly, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of amazed at how people self-manage it from a distance.
Yeah, I mean, like just for example, with a pool, I mean, we got 3-year-old twins, and one of them threw up in the pool. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna try to clean it up our best we can, and then it's like, okay, hey, property manager, can you help us out here? And her name is Kitty, and she's with Vacation Life, Beach Life Vacation Homes here in Destin. And it's like, okay, I text her directly, and she's like, yeah, I'll get somebody out there quickly. So she has that personal touch, and she's got a team behind her for sure. And they have, like, I think 90 properties total. But they definitely have that hands-on approach. And yeah, I don't know how people do it, especially at scale. If it's just automated. You have that personal touch definitely makes a difference in terms of return guests, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and I think part of it too is like you have yours is more like a home, right? Like I don't you don't have like multiple people. Do you have multiple people reserving at one time, possibly? Like they share the unit, or is it
Like
kind of
one, no, yeah, it's all one group. So yeah, it's all connected people that are in there.
yeah? So a lot of the ones that are legal, like in Waikiki, they're in apartments or buildings, so it's not that easy of an access for them. Like either they need codes, they need elevator keys, and all these things. And so coordinating all of that, I'm finding to be very challenging. And a lot of times, I hate to say it, but people don't read instructions very well anymore. And we have keys not being returned, keys being taken with them to the airport. So it's sometimes it's a nightmare trying. And then the next guest arrives, and they're like, "Oh, where's the key that I need?" And so it's just a lot of follow up, and we're trying to track down. So that's what I'm finding out. Is it's I think part of
Yeah.
it being in Waikiki has its own challenges. Especially if it's in a building and they have security in place, and they gotta have all this access. But yeah, and the cleaning has been it's kind of a challenge too. Just finding good cleaners.
I know. One of the things that I just found out from the new property managers that we brought in, you know, they do something pretty unique, and maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but I guess I will. But like, she basically has her cleaners, treat these homes like it's their property. Hey, like, we're gonna have you stay in the property once or twice, as a favor, kind of a thing. This is treated like your own property, and this is the guests that come back and the reviews. This is your responsibility. So it's your job to make sure that thing is ready to go, and people are in awe when they come and see the property that's in tip top shape. So it's like kind of building that community or the family kind of feel, which, I mean, I don't know exactly how she does it per se, but like that's the thing that she's kind of instilled in her cleaner. So the cleaners are not like I hear all the time that it's so hard to find good cleaners, and it's just a revolving door of people. And it's like the people that she has, the people that have been on for a while. So it's that consistency is important. But yeah, it's challenging. So tell me more about that for you guys' side.
No, I think that's a great idea too. Like maybe if there's no booking, that it doesn't get reserved. Maybe the host or the cleaners can just stay there for a day or two, and that way you also know kind of what it's lacking or what's missing or what's not working. Because even like just this morning, I got some the reviews, and in the private section, the guests were like, "Oh, just I'm not sure if this light bulb is out, or maybe it has to be plugged in, but we turned this lamp on, the light never went on, and this certain thing was loose, and just things like that you're not gonna catch during cleaning, or you wouldn't really
Yeah.
know about it. So that's a great idea. Maybe if like the unit is not reserved, then maybe you just you spend the night there, and you can kind of get a feel for what it might be lacking or what needs to be fixed a little bit. But yeah, to me the biggest thing is just kind of at first I didn't want to make such detailed instructions. Like I felt like I, I don't want this whole story that someone has to read just to check in. But then I'm finding out it's kind of necessary. Like, so we have pictures of like what hallway to walk down, where to turn, where's the lockbox. And yeah, so at first it was kind of like, I don't want it to be this long thing. But now I realize that yeah, everything kind of has to be spelled out and put out there so they have exact directions on where to go.
From you mentioned the listing stuff, website. Are you guys using VRBO, Airbnb sites, or what all did you guys use for your stuff?
So initially, we got very excited. We're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna use all these different platforms. But currently we are just using Airbnb because I think we needed to get things stabilized. We were trying to get everything, like I said, trying to get 7 listed all at one time, getting the Airbnb listing up, and then worrying about getting on the other platforms. I think we would have messed ourselves up a lot more. So right now we're just using Airbnb, and currently, I mean, it's the first month was a little rocky, just kind of get everything situated. But now, I mean, everything is probably about in the 80 to 90% booking for the current months. And a lot of stuff I've been reviewing too. It's kind of been saying Airbnb is going to be your primary bookings come from there. And I guess a lot of times other people use like those softwares more to, I guess the way they try to sell it is that what if Airbnb goes down or has a glitch and your bookings aren't there, or let's say you get kicked off of Airbnb for whatever reason. Now you don't have any listings out there. So I guess that's how some of these platforms kind of try to sell you, say, hey, I know Airbnb is the primary one, but it's good to have your listings on other sites also, just in case something does happen with Airbnb. At least your listings are still out there and available. But for us currently, I was just using strictly Airbnb, and slowly, I think the plan is to transition so that we kind of, once we get everything kind of settled in. But my vision also, why was interested in hosting and being a manager for these other owners, was I'm trying to see if it's something that I want to get into, like if I want to manage or maybe purchase an Airbnb down the road and see if it's actually worth it, what kind of headaches are involved, how automated can I make it? And, especially like in Hawaii, they're constantly trying to ban Airbnb. So that's something also I got to see as far as will it rent as a long term, or what kind of exit strategies can I have? But that's more kind of what my vision was, is kind of get the kinks out. I guess I hate to say it. Hopefully, the owners aren't watching it, but the risk is all on them, right? They're the ones that have all the payments they have to make, and if it doesn't book, that's not money out of my pocket. But
Yeah.
so right now, I can kind of get the idea of if these systems and platforms work.
The the markets that are out there, if you look at AirDNA, like I know there was a couple articles about the hottest Airbnb markets or top 5 Airbnb markets, and like, some places that aren't like your typical beach or Hawaii areas. There's like a Chattanooga, the Smoky Mountains. You got Savannah that's up and coming, and St. Louis is actually on one of those lists now. At the same time, like that doesn't mean like it's the best place to buy. So there's just already a lot of activity, already a lot of listings out there. So certain places are already saturated in certain respects. But it's interesting, like St. Louis has a lot of people coming in and out for conventions, and like a lot of universities, and events and graduations and sports, and like just every city's got a market for it. And I guess, but the question for you is, you're already in the Pittsburgh market. I mean, do you know anybody out there that's doing some short-term rentals in certain pockets out there?
I do. So that's kind of my plan also too. I know some agents. So I'm with Remax Honolulu, but I also know some Remax agents in Pittsburgh, and they manage short-term rentals. And there's some areas, there's a lot of festivals that go on, and they have the shoots, I can't even, the regattas. So there's a lot of times that there is a lot of short-term rental activity. And legislation wise, it's right now it's pretty, it's not something that they're looking to ban and crack down on. So I did have properties. So I have 14 units there. I had them kind of look over them and say, hey, any of these you think would make sense? And there's a few that they said kind of would make sense. But what we did decide on was it would probably be best if I would buy something that was kind of more strictly suited for like a short-term rental. So some of mine could maybe transition and do okay, but it might be just better to focus on getting one that's kind of strictly for that, that's kind of, make sure there's parking and make sure it kind of fits the criteria for the people that are going to be coming and looking for short-term rentals.
So just to kind of look at the how you analyze that. So you've already got properties there. Your single families are what, like three bed, two
Yeah,
bath, two bed, something like that.
most of them, yeah.
And are they all pretty much in a similar radius of an area, or are they scattered or central to like each other?
Maybe like 2, 3 pockets, like maybe 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. Yeah.
And then like from a geography standpoint, would you have a short-term rental in a similar-ish area or a different area, or how do you look at that?
Yeah. So that's why maybe like two of the properties kind of we're kind of in that area where maybe short-term rental is a little more active. So that's the one they were saying, oh, these might work. It's just maybe because it wasn't purchased with that in mind, you may not get like, the best bookings and have, highest occupancy. But so we kind of just figured out, you know what, maybe it's best to just keep that as a long term, and then whatever my next plan or next purchase is, and maybe kind of focus, okay, I'm gonna try to buy this one as a short-term rental. So it's kind of more specifically kind of tailored to that type of clientele.
How close to downtown are your properties?
Some are like right outside. Yeah, I mean, some are maybe
Okay,
like, yeah, 15 minutes. Some are in kind of in
okay,
downtown, but some are more in the suburbs. But there's
gotcha.
kind of, yeah. So there's a few that might work well. They said just, you know probably doesn't have the amount of parking you might want and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it might just be better instead of trying to transition one into a short-term rental, maybe like the
Yeah.
next
I
acquisition.
mean,
Yeah.
I know summer must be like the slowest time because no one's coming to watch Pittsburgh Pirates baseball. So it must be like, hockey and football, winter and fall. Is it hot time?
What are you bashing on Pittsburgh for, man? Pittsburgh,
They're in our division. They're in our division. I have to. It's my job. St. Louis Cardinals,
true.
NL
Yeah,
Central.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, they were doing well. Yeah, they were doing well. But no, I mean, yeah, like I haven't even been to Pittsburgh yet, but I know there's a lot of things that go on there. Actually, I just saw one of the agents that I follow. They have pickle fest or something, some kind of pickle.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting. And like I said, I know there's a bunch of regattas but there's stuff that go on in Pittsburgh, man. It's a pretty happening place out here.
Well, that's the thing is that like in St. Louis, there's a huge chess, like the world chess championships happen there. Like there's a big chess thing, like the Bowling Hall of Fame is in St. Louis. Like there's just like random things that like conventions that happen like in different pockets of St.
Yeah,
Louis. I'm sure the same thing in Pittsburgh. So it's interesting how, certain times of the year you see the traffic
yeah.
pick up.
I'm sure everywhere has, something like that. But, you know, Waikiki has, the beaches and stuff. So that's kind of what attracts a lot of people. So it, that's kind of the big draw. So, a lot of people they come here and they don't need the parking. They're just, they pretty much just stay in Waikiki and they walk to the beach and they enjoy. So, we don't a lot of our buildings, there is parking available to purchase or for a fee. But most people they come for a few days and they're not even driving anywhere or wherever they need to go, they just Uber or Lyft. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how people just come here and then they just, they're just going to enjoy and relax. And some guests you don't hear anything from, and some guests it's like every 30 minutes I'm getting a message about something. It's amazing.
Yeah, like from an entry standpoint, like this part of Florida, this entire area is geared towards short-term rental. That's a big part of the economy, right? So like the guidelines and the permits are all pretty, friendly. Certain areas, you're gonna get on a waiting list. That's how restrictive things are. Like I think San Diego has a couple different tiers of different things you can do. Like somebody wanted to get into the short-term rental game right now in Oahu, Waikiki area. Is it possible? You have to be very like, what's the process like?
It's possible. It's just a lot of the properties that are well in Waikiki, a lot of them are going to be leasehold. So you don't actually own, the land, or you're just kind of leasing it from the owner. And so it's almost like Airbnb arbitrage you're kind of doing in a sense. So somebody's might be like 30-year leases and whatnot. So that's why a lot of people, it actually is kind of a decent entry point because you're not actually buying the property. You're kind of just leasing it. So your fees aren't that high. It's just, you got to be aware of when that lease is going to expire and whatnot. And so it is possible, but there is other areas on the island that are legal, and just got to check to see which, a lot of them are in resort zone areas. So in Ko'olina, which is on a different part of the island, and then on the North Shore, like Turtle Bay side, they have some legal
Yeah.
ones on that side. So it can be done. It's just definitely, it's very saturated, and you got to find that kind of sweet spot. So some of the properties that we are hosting for, they have, they're cute, they're nice, they're kind of they kind of give you that little Airbnb experience to it, you know. And then we have one which is a great property in a great building. It's just it's a little dated. So, you know, it's but the price point we kind of made it a lot more competitive because it, you know, we'll be honest, it's not, you know, most of the guests they come there and they do mention it. They say, oh, you know, it's a little dated, but the price wise, it's super affordable and the location is great. So that's kind of where we're at. Is we have some properties that the owners have kind of they want to give you that kind of Airbnb experience, that short term rental experience. Where we have another one where it's a little dated and the owner is just not really willing to renovate it or fix it up right now. But they also understand that and they also realize that's why the price point is a lot lower. So yeah, it's kind of it can be done. It's just it is a lot more work than I ever thought it was going to be. I thought, you know, everybody talks about automating stuff and getting things automated in the systems. And I mean, it's automated to a point, but like I said, there's so many questions that some guests come up with, and I just can't see how all of that can just be automated.
I guess from a buy side, I keep talking. I mean, I talked to a lot of agents in different parts of the country, and there's still a lot of cash going around.
Uh, All right, so a little technical difficulty. Joel's playing with his phone and he exited the recording. So we're back.
Whew. Yeah, call coming in. I guess I had the wrong button, but
No.
yeah, you know, people buying in cash in a lot of situations. I mean, what are you seeing? You know, buyers coming in, a lot of cash financing, or what's the mix
Oh
you're
yeah,
seeing?
yeah. Well, so to get financing on the leasehold, sometimes it is kind of challenging. A lot of times, depending on how much is remaining on the lease. So, but that's also why we do see a lot of cash purchases, because there's a lot of foreign money coming in. A lot of times, you know, Japan, China spend a lot of money and invest heavily here. So yeah, a lot of it is cash purchases. And a lot of times, you know, like the leases might be only, you know, 200,000 and, you know, so it's not something super crazy, but it's enough to where you can generate revenue from these short-term rentals. So yeah, there's a lot of
Gotcha.
cash still being spent here, and that's the one thing, you know, we have such a great climate too. So there's a lot of people invest their money here, and honestly, I mean, you don't get a lot of that wear and tear on your properties and have a lot of these maintenance issues that I'm finding. Like in Pittsburgh, I'm finding out there's sometimes a lot more wear and tear on the units, you know, especially because of the winter months and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's why there's also a lot of money that comes this way is, you know, because I had some rentals here before and I mean, I didn't really have a lot of maintenance that I really had to deal with on a yearly basis. But yeah,
Yeah, like in the Midwest, it's like gutters and roofs and, you know, your decks or your patios and your driveway, you know, cracking, like just, yeah,
yeah,
all that stuff, you know,
yeah,
the freezing and you know, the contracting and all that stuff for all the materials. Yep. It just wears and tears for sure.
yeah. All right. So what is your next plan? Are you gonna invest in another short-term rental or what is your vision?
I
You
mean,
are you
me,
gonna
me,
get one in St. Louis?
um, we'll see. You know, if I can scoop one up, a good one with seller financing, maybe, but like, I mean, right now I've got this land development deal here in Florida that's still, you know, kind of on hold as we're waiting for the county to put in utilities. So it's you know, we're going to be building houses, so 34 buildable houses. So right now the plan is to write it out. We'll see what happens. But so right now I'm just kind of holding pat with working on that one.
Yeah. I think now that I've experienced it a little bit, I I I think I'll probably try and do one. I don't know if I'm going to try to do one in Pittsburgh just from, you know, that's a lot of percent because, you know, so if someone manages, like, so the owners, you know, we're managing, we're taking, you know, usually taking 20, 30%. And, you know, that's a lot off the top. So if I can find something that makes sense in Honolulu or Waikiki, I would consider it. So even though that's another good thing by me dabbling my feet in this and I'm getting to deal with these other investors or owners, and sometimes a lot of them are, they're looking to sell just because they're kind of concerned about the regulations and whatnot cracking down. So that's another way for me to get my foot in the door. And if one of these investors want to move on from it, then I can also
Right.
get into that. But that's this is more me just trying to check out the system and see how automated it can be. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a great way, right? I mean, to be able to get your feet wet, get all the systems put in place, and then like when the right deal comes up,
Yeah.
add it into your portfolio of management. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And then if I self-manage it, right, and I can get the short-term rental loophole and get some tax benefits from it. So that's also part of the plan too.
Definitely, definitely. And if your seller, if your landlords or your sellers, your owners you
Oh,
already have, sell.
actually, now that I think about it, I just had a talk on, it's going to be one of my interviews coming out with, I don't know if you know, Ryan Bakey, learned like a CPA, but I
Hmm.
interviewed him. And actually, now that I think about it, I wouldn't be able to take advantage of the tax benefit, the short-term rental loophole, because, well, I would if I was able to buy an actual purchase, like a regular fee simple property. But
Not a
because it's
leasehold.
leasehold, it's
Uh,
leasehold, it's almost like doing Airbnb arbitrage, so you don't actually
yeah.
get those benefits. So yeah, I forgot to. But, so that was a great conversation. Also, I'm like,
Ooh,
maybe it's not worth. Yeah, but we'll
yeah.
see. I'm actually having fun with it, but I'm also having fun with it because I have a partner involved in it. So it's not like I'm strictly the one always having to deal with. We kind of,
Yeah.
we both try to go back and forth, but yeah, I'm having fun with it so far.
That's awesome. So like, do you guys have a very defined kind of set of responsibilities, or does it overlap, or how do you guys do it?
So we're both still in he was my recruit classmate coming into the fire department, but he's on a regular Monday through Friday schedule, and I'm on a regular called Kelly schedule. But I work like basically every other day, 24 hours. So I handle a lot of the communication stuff, like the messaging. If there's stuff that come up, a lot of times he takes care of it because he can kind of run away a little bit, or from his spot. But so it just depends. Yeah, we kind of have our roles now. But but
Cool.
but yeah, yeah. I actually kind of like communicating with the guests sometimes. It's funny to me. It's gonna be my new maybe stories that I put out on social media. Questions I get. I'm like,
Yep.
what? Like, you don't know how to turn the air conditioner on? Like what? But
All
yeah.
right.
All right, man. It's been fun. I'm glad that we got together. Like I said, I'm doing it in a weight room right now. We're
I
doing
know,
it as a
right?
short-term rental. We're just trying to put content out there for people. But yeah, we'll do it again next week, and you'll be late again as usual, probably. But
Probably later next time. Yep.
no, no. But right, didn't that's why I asked Eastern time zone, and you said Central, and I was like, aren't you gonna be in Florida?
Well, this part of Florida is central. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I don't
Oh,
know. I think
wait,
Tallahassee is
what?
like where the cutoff. Yeah, this is central time.
Are you for real? How does
Hmm.
that work? Because North Carolina is central. I mean Eastern.
Yeah, but we're in the
But
panhandle. Panhandle.
is that? Oh,
Yeah. So like
holy moly!
Alabama, or no, Alabama and Georgia are like right here above us.
Ah, that's crazy. Yeah, because even
Yeah.
Tennessee, I didn't realize Tennessee is split like that also. Because
Yeah. Yeah. Parts
that
of it
girl
are
that
central.
yeah, my friend Sierra Smith that I interviewed, I didn't realize she was wait. Yeah, she's central, but she's in Tennessee. I just thought Tennessee was eastern because
What city is she in? Like
good
Memphis
question.
or?
No, she's not in Memphis. I forget where she's at, but
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what confused me. Yeah. All right. Well, oh, I guess. Oh, yeah. Well, that'll be a next topic. Maybe how to figure out what time zone you're in.
Right. I know. Yeah. We'll
All right.
looking
Well,
forward to
yeah,
catching
we'll
up.
do this again, man. All right,
All
man.
right. See you,
Have a good
Mark.
weekend. All right, man.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.